Hello everybody, you're here with Claro Beauty with your host Claudia Lara. So today we have another episode of fragrance. One of my favorites because I love experiencing a new fragrance in my collection and experience it here with you all. So I hope you like it. Usually it's very hard to translate what a fragrance smells like. So what I do is, of course, mention a little bit of the ingredients, mention who's behind it, and then exactly what I experience, what images I see, what and for who do I see wearing this and going where, and again, the images that come to my mind. So if you like that, keep on watching. Most of the fragrances that I do in this channel are new to me. So this is first impressions. Sometimes, as I have explained before, getting to know a fragrance, it's like getting to know another living thing. Your experience of the first time might change through time. Some fragrances, the first time you smell them, you're like, oh, and then they grow on you and then you can't live without. And some others, you love them and then they get overwhelming through time and you get tired of the smell. So first impression is just that, first impression. So, all right, let's continue. Because I don't like to ramble a lot, which sort of like I do because I ramble a lot in all my videos. But I don't like it in here because once I smell the fragrance, I get into what I call the life of the fragrance itself. So whatever starts happening, I think, is part of experiencing the fragrance. So I don't want to prolong getting into the fragrance. So let's just spray it. Well, the reality is I usually do two things. So the first thing is I go to Fragrantica, which I apologize, I hadn't really go there. And I like going there. I just read a little bit of the main accords that they suggest because Fragrantica gives like a level feel because all kind of fragrances go in there. And so I think whatever they say is comparable or done the same way for everybody. But then most important, I like to go to the actual house of the fragrance because now we're talking about the people that made the fragrance and know the fragrance. So I do both. So the first thing I want to call what fragrance we're referring to do, and it is Irish Leather by MEMO Paris. Now I tell you, I know I'm not supposed to do this because it makes it a little confusing, but I have to mention it. I wanted to try, because these are all samples that came in a discovery set, and I wanted to try this African leather. However, because I wanted to try that because of look at my look. So I felt very adventurous. I don't know why I think that's Africa, but maybe not. It could be any country, right? But I just thought African leather, I just heard drums and pa, 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 and I wanted to try it. But I was also looking at Irish leather, which is what we're going to talk about today. And I pull out the African leather. I'm like, that's what we're going with. I don't care. Drums, adventures, this. I don't know why. It looks like an African sort of safari. Even though, as I apply this makeup, it was about a superhero, the mask of a superhero. You can watch. I'll link it down below if you want to see how I created this look. But, so again, I've been torn. So I mentioned both. Why? I don't understand. Would this matter if we're talking about the Irish leather? Well, I had to say it because it was my mood, right? My mood is involved in all of this. So, all right. Irish leather. MEMO Paris, it says for women and for men. Now, the important part that I want to hear is it's a leather fragrance for women and men. Irish Leather was launched in 2013. The nose behind this fragrance is Alinor Massenet. So if you've been with me, you know that I love the fact that the person behind the scent is a female. Now, most recent fragrances that I've been experiencing, apparently they're not that old because they're all in the last decade. So that means we're in the trend. We're in the trend. and I love it. It's a woman. It seems that most of the MEMO Paris that I have smelled so far, she's been behind it. So I like that. Maybe I should read a little bit about the actual house of MEMO Paris and see how she's involved, or maybe she's been there since the beginning, or, you know, all of that jazz. Perhaps for the next one, I will let you know. So, because now I'm curious myself, I'm learning with you all. So let's spray it. Let's spray it. Let's spray it. I don't know why it took me so long. I mean, how long it took me? 5 minutes. All right. It's not that long, guys. It's not that long. All right. So I'm spraying it. Whew. I wanted to do this. Yeah, let's do it. I thought I'll do, whew. Well, that was strong. Just do it right there. Oh, wow. Ooh. All right, all right. So it was too strong if I apply it in there and then smell it as it was wet still. Don't do that. Don't do that. But as it started melting down, which took what, 2-3 seconds? Oh, it's so lovely because I can smell leather, of course, suede leather. But it's mixed. It's mixed, and I haven't read the ingredients, but it's mixed maybe with what I call amber, because immediately gives me that elegance, and that elegance can come from the suede, or can come from you know, something like an amber, like a brandy. So let's read, because it has some sweetness like that. Let's read a little bit more. So the main accords, according to Fragrantica, is aromatic, leather. See, aromatic, yeah, I could see that's, I guess, what I was feeling in that moment. So leather, fresh, spicy, woody, animalic, and amber. Ah, there's the amber, yay! Do I get any points? All right, anyway. Silly, so silly. Especially with this makeup, right? You know, this is kind of the makeup that if the makeup artist did it, which did not, and I did it, it probably is mature and all the way you want, but I'm very proud of it. You know, I always say, don't laugh, don't be silly, just be, you know, majestic, right? Maybe not. You know, just because of the look, I wanted to try a fragrance from Initio because it's explosive and adventurous. Why do I always have to talk about Initio in every other fragrance? I don't know, because they're just so explosive that you just remember them. Let's get back to this. Irish leather. All right. So far I agree with these main accords listed here, and that's as much as we're gonna go into this balance out website. Now we're gonna go to the actual MEMO Paris. And I'll tell you what convinced me to talk about this one and not the African leather, which that will be coming. But the reason I chose to talk about this one was because when I first logged into their website, they had the top with this Irish leather. So I guess right now it's happening, or they're trying to promote it. We're not affiliated, and it's just a coincidence. I didn't know. I went in and it was the first banner. And the words that go with this fragrance is gallop of the wind. It has a horse. Gallop of the wind, guys. I'll show you a picture. This is the bottle, and I don't know if it's a good picture. There's a horse, kind of in a, I wouldn't say Picasso sort of way, but there's a horse in here. You see it? And then of course the horse here, you can see that one. I hope. But in the bottle, this is the bottle. Now, all the bottles of MEMO Paris are exactly the same, meaning the size, the shape, and all that. And then, of course, it has this gold top, which looks very lovely. But then they have like a metallic. It's like a brass or something that gets glue. Like this is another one, you know. See, the bottles are the same. But, and then they have a design, which I think is very lovely. The first time I saw one of this, I thought immediately reminded me of a kind of a lotion bottle that you can throw in a backpack for a nice weekend out. That's what I thought. But the reality is they actually sell these bottles, which are gorgeous. They're traveling little bottles that you can fill them up so you don't carry this whole thing. So again, I think they are thinking of those that will take a weekend trip. Because when I first saw it, I immediately thought, put the bottle inside a backpack and you know, just go in trouble with it. I mean, don't even take shampoo, don't even take soap, just take this. And now, yeah, I'm remembering they have all this, they have a travel case designed for each of the fragrances, which I think is lovely. I don't know any, maybe I will, but I'm not traveling that much right now. But I think it's just perfect. So I think it's with that thought in mind. Okay, let's get back to the Irish leather. So talking about, remember I said everything I said in here after I spray kind of has something to do with it. I think this fragrance could be great for traveling also because it's very, you know, you can use it for everything. It's very universal in that way because you can use it every day, but it's also very specific, very unique. It makes a statement. But in a very understated. It seems like this line is like that. That's why I keep reaching for them because I keep going and spraying throughout the day or every different days. Because even though it has a strong statement, it's understated. So it's almost like if you smell it, you're like, wow, it's so unique, interesting, elegant. It has elegant. All the MEMO pairs have this elegance to them. And at the same time, it doesn't overwhelm the room. It doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't overwhelm what you're doing. So immediately I think, and this is again throughout the house, but in this particular, this is a fragrance that you can take anywhere for work, for social, for during the day, for night. So this is a very whole, well done fragrance, I think. Very universal. So that's the first thing. Now, it's not the light, fresh, white floral sort of thing, go in the midst of the outdoors or you're on vacation like I've described before. You open up the doors with the curtains blowing and all of that. No, poetic. I've described that on other ones. I wouldn't describe that this. Is this, and even look at my tone and how I'm describing it. Serious, elegant, active. So, I mean, what got me was Gallop of the Wind. So it does have this extravaganza to it. So let me read you a little bit, and it's just 2 sentences, maybe 3, of, yeah, it's actually 1 sentence, but it has 2 little lines. The reason I like to read it, and if you haven't seen my other videos, is because I think words matter, especially in the purpose and intention. And I know they took the time to find what words or what description will go with the fragrance. So I think it matters. I think, and in a poetic sort of way. I mean, if you're experiencing the whole fragrance. So it says, like a nod to the Irish origins of MEMO Poggy's co-founder. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the co-founder was Irish. See, you learn. This fragrance blends his leather accord with the windy freshness of juniper berries and green mate absolute. Okay, juniper berries and green mate absolute. Okay. And I say okay like a million times because I'm trying to remember. I don't remember a lot of fragrances that I have experienced with you all or experienced with juniper berries. Like I wouldn't even recognize it. I'm trying to see if my palette, maybe that is the elegant aroma. Remember I described as a brandy, that there was like some kind of, maybe that is the juniper berries. After all, most liqueurs are made out of fruit. You know, and some potatoes and some, all right. Anyway, so when I first read the ingredients, the green mate was the one that I'm like, no, that's a little too fruity. I mean, not fruity because it's green mate, but what I meant is I thought more for the day, a little more casual, you know, a little more subtle. And that's why I wanted to go with the African leather. However, I have to say, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like very, you know, yoga. And no, because it's leather. So the leather immediately It scales it up, I think, in seriousness, in professionalism, if you want to call it professionalism, but in that elegance, and of course the amber. So let's just look at the ingredients here. It says, very short, pink pepper, oil of clary sage, oil of clove, never heard of that, clove, iris concrete, tonka bean absolute, oil of birch, amber accord. All right. So far, a lot of the fragrances that I have smelled that have pink pepper, I have liked. And I'll tell you what I remember of the ones I've smelled with it, which I don't remember which ones there were, but I just remember the experience of pink pepper every time I mention it is a little spicy up, a little interesting, a little note that pokes out to call attention or to call leadership. Call leadership. I think when that is added to the fragrance, it is calling you forward. It's not like, yeah, nonchalant, just go about it. And it's not so strong that you have to own it to, have the fragrance, which I've described before. No, the pink pepper, I think it just calls you forward. Just calls your leadership forward. It's been my experience so far. And so, I think this fragrance does that. It does call you forward. It calls your leadership forward. Now there's the leather, which is that kind of familiarity, a little masculinity to her, or a little coziness. But I immediately think of, you're gonna ride a horse. When I think of leather, it's kind of, you're gonna go up in the horse. So it has this relationship with power. Horses are known to be symbolism for power, also freedom. Galloping, but to me the leather always calls to that power, to that being in your body, because if you're gonna ride a horse, you can't be in La La Land, and I call La La Land when you're like picking flowers, right? You're there but not there. You're so light in your freedom and happiness, and to me that's more white floral. Leather to me calls you to be in your body, and again I say it, galloping a horse, you better pay attention and be here and connect with the animal and go up, and then allow yourself to be with the experience or be with the animal, but at the same time be in charge of yourself, and be in charge of letting the animal know that you are in charge in this situation. And they're so noble that they allow you, and I say they allow you because if they wanted to, they will, toss you out. But they're noble enough that they submit to that idea that you will be in charge and they will follow. That's very interesting. I mean, don't get me going into the humility and nobility of the animals, especially horses, that to me they're so powerful, intelligent, and intuitive, etc. All right, so going back to the experience of the fragrance. So as you've seen what this fragrance does to me, it does get me out of the logic mind a little bit. It allows me that out of the lines, kind of coloring outside the lines a little bit. But still bringing that elegance, that quality of being here that probably leather does. And so I think this is a very universal fragrance. Definitely I will pull it out for certain days. Definitely. I would love to have it. So who do I recommend it to? Well, given that it's universal, I do see it for men and women. Men, if you like leather. Women, they keep bringing these fragrances of leather for females, and I keep being in the edge of it. I keep mixing my leather fragrances with some white floral, and I love that combination. Because I thought leather, I don't know why, I make it more for a male or masculine. But in this case, I think they did a great job mixing it. I don't know if it's the berries, the green mate, but I don't feel it so much in the masculine. I do feel it in this kind of elegance woman So more serious woman, like I just explained, you know, not in the white little thing, but riding a horse and getting into the thing. Immediately I thought of Elizabeth, you know, the Queen Elizabeth of England, how they show her that she's very good with animals, very good in the outdoors, even though she's the queen, right? So there's this thing about owning, being called forward. I wouldn't go into a royalty. I see more the Queen Elizabeth, but in the outdoorsy scenes when she is really in control of her body, her surroundings, and the animals. The animals don't really get logically that she's the queen, right? She has to make that connection in a certain way to really, you know, be in power with them. That's the beauty of animals and children, right? I'm not comparing one with the other. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, one sentence. I'm surprised I didn't add it to the online. Oh, and we're gonna wrap it up. One sentence that is here that also convinced me to talk about this. It says, "One of those rough, cold mornings when the sun peeks through the heavy gray clouds, 1,000-year-old scent, the scent of freedom. Irish leather gallops towards the horizon." This is what got me. That's why I did this fragrance today. I love it. I'm surprised it was not on the web. Leather gallops towards the horizon. So again, it's this sense of adventure. Reason why I did it with this makeup, which now I'm loving more and more for this fragrance. I would just have to think what look, and immediately I thought of a brown leather something, at least the pants, with this sort of look. Getting excited already. So I hope you like the description. Universal, man, woman, yes. I think I said enough about the fragrance. I really like it. Would I buy it? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. If you like what I just said and you like the ingredients. And that's about it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you liked it. If this is the first time you're here, or if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please ring the bell in the right-hand corner of your screen. And please comment below. Do you own this fragrance? Do you know about this fragrance? Do you know about this house, MEMO Paris? And did you enjoy this video? Thank you very much. And I guess leather gallops through the horizon. See you later, alligator. Bye.